Polls opening in just hours in one of the biggest primaries in the country. California's jungle primary happening today, with Democrats hoping to pick up seats in the state in their bid to regain the majority. But as more Democrats put their names on the ballot, could that spell disaster for the party in a state that allows the top two, regardless of party, to advance? Here now to weigh in is political analyst with MediaDC, Ron Meyer. Ron, great to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Heather. How's it going?
So it's going great. So this jungle primary is something that California voted on. It's what, Proposition 14. And as we just said, it allows the top two vote getters, regardless of party, to advance. And so the problem may be that Democrats have so many people running this time around that it could split the vote and Republicans could end up benefiting, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Democrats love this idea when they adopted it in 2009, but they may not be loving it so much tonight. Because the issue is that they have so many Democrats running in these individual races, and Republicans have really solidified between 1, 2, or 3 candidates. And so if two Republicans are the two top vote getters, then no Democrats make it to November election. And so there's 3 races I want you to watch tonight. It's the 38th, the 48th, and the 49th district. These are the 3 races that really Democrats need to pick up. They're the easy pickups. But guess what? They might not even have a Democrat on the ballot because there are 2 strong Republicans, and then there are in some cases more than 6 Democrats who have real money in these elections. And so they could basically take votes from each other and not advance. And so Republicans then would, by the way, not even have to spend any money on November in these races where they were planning on having to spend millions of dollars, meaning they can shift that money to places like Pennsylvania and to Northern Virginia. So
in the 39th district race specifically, there are 17 candidates looking to replace someone. And then if you look at the type of money that's being spent in that race alone, Democrats spending millions, 3 of them close to $8 million in that race alone, and Republicans, the top 2, have spent less than $700,000 across the board for both parties. And these numbers, honestly, look at this. Back in 2014 and 2010, not even $1 million spent. But this time around, over $26 million spent. A lot of that is outside money coming in, Ron.
Yeah, that $26 million is it's a great thing for Republicans because guess what? That's $26 million less that they'll be able to use in other competitive districts across the country. And so Democrats are basically in freakout mode because of this jungle primary system. They're trying to elevate 1 or 2 candidates in these different races to make sure that they make the ballot in November. And so this has been a great thing for the Republicans, but a great thing for Trump. And then at the same time, by the way, you look at nationally, the numbers for Republicans are improving in the generic ballot. So there's a lot of good news potentially coming tonight.
Let's talk about that nationally, because Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, they're both eyeing a 2020 run, and they're both, top of the list for Democrats. Is that really the best they have?
Well, in some ways, it kind of makes sense because it's kind of the closest thing they have to Trump. These 2 candidates appeal to blue-collar voters. They are, I would say they're tougher on trade than most Democrats. And so they're trying to mimic Trump. And also, by the way, the age issue. And so, it's funny, you might have somebody who's close to being a great-grandfather running for president again. And there's nothing wrong with that. More power to him. But I think as far as what it says about the Democratic Party, it means that they really have no bench. They have no fresh ideas. There's no Barack Obamas in the waiting who are starting to step up. And so they're having to turn to people who have either been vice president or been president, and really are folks who probably wouldn't otherwise want to run for president, but they might have to because Democrats really have no one else. If Democrats decide to run people from either coast, I think they're in trouble because they have to win Trump voters in Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania if they want a chance. And that's why they're looking to these 2, because the other candidates that they're looking at really have no shot at trying to flip those Trump voters who, by the way, are seeing incredible economic success. 270,000 new manufacturing jobs in the United States since the president was elected. So they're going to have to find someone who could basically go to those states and say that's actually a bad thing for you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Bernie Sanders does run, if he would do a little bit better this time around if the DNC did not get involved like they did, or some say like they did last time.
Yeah,
Ron,
no kidding.
Yeah, Ron, thank you so much for joining us this morning.